I'm Vince.
And I'm Al, and welcome to another LEOBROS segment. Vince, here we go, episode 2, getting into the swing of things and everything. I just want to say, man, this is awesome, incredible. Thank you guys so much. If you've been part of the journey, if you're listening to this and you're new, welcome. Hit that subscribe button while you're on it because, listen, I mean, the Leo gang is only growing, and we want you to be part of it. Um, as far as all of the talking and getting you guys used to what this channel is all about, refer back to episode 1. But I'm gonna get right into what we're gonna be talking about today. And today we have something really special. We're gonna talk about Black Panther, its success not just here in the United States but globally. It's how it's affected our society and politics in general, and just the movie itself. Vince is an incredible person, but he's huge in movies. He's a big Marvel guy as well, and so he just recently watched Black Panther. So we're gonna hear what he has to say, and then we're also gonna be talking about a controversial topic, and that is regarding gun and gun control. So a lot in store. Vince and I are really excited about this. So Vince, start us off, bro. How did you like the movie? You watched it. How'd you like it?
Yeah, so once again, I cannot express this enough that I love Marvel movies. The biggest thing about Marvel movies or superhero movies in general is just to sit back, enjoy it. Don't think about it too much. Because at the end of the day, it's superheroes and they're fighting and punching, and there's a villain who might be kind of cheesy, whatever it may be. And once again, at the end of the day, it's a comic book movie. However, with comic book movies nowadays, they try to make them be very dark, gritty, and most of all, they try to make them be realistic. With Marvel movies, they're not always super dark and gritty. You look at the newest trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's pure comedy. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy for the most part. So with Black Panther, they were clearly trying to go, how would you say, they're trying to go realistic. And they try to set up this brand new country, but let alone it's almost like its own little world. Wakanda, it's so high-tech. And I think that's where a lot of the realisticness behind it goes away, with all the flying ships and but at the same time, it's so... Here's the point I'm trying to make here. They try to make it be really African with all these different tribes and all this, but it's also super, super, super futuristic. So why would you have rhinos fighting alongside spaceships? To me, that doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, it's the message that drives me away from the movie. The message is good, but unlike any other Marvel movie, it's in your face the entire movie long. And I think a good movie includes all types of audiences. That includes the whites or, everybody. I think it includes every single race. And this movie, I think, is targeted towards one race or one community in general. And I think that's where that's going to hurt the movie. Another thing I wanted to say, too, is Black Panther as a superhero, his super moves are that of Wolverine. So when he slashes somebody, I don't get that excited. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I've seen this. When he's able to reflect guns, it's no different like Iron Man or Cap with his shield. The only thing cool about him is he can absorb kinetic energy and then reflect it back to you. So if the Hulk were to punch Black Panther, imagine that energy going back to Hulk. But that's kind of like Ant-Man in the sense that guy's this big, but he'll punch as if he was this big. So I don't think he's that unique. And a lot of the potential of Black Panther is overshadowed by all the supporting cast, which I just couldn't gravitate towards. There were all these new characters, and I get it, they can kick butt, I get it. But to me, it was like the Black Avengers, and I feel like it was just trying too hard. Yeah. So as far as the movie goes, though, you can't take away the financial success, and I know a lot of people love it. In ways, it's the best Marvel movie ever. It's all hype because you take away the fact that Black Panther is black and the cast is black and they're white people, people would think this is one of the worst Marvel movies ever. So the fact that your skin color makes it the greatest movie of all time, I'm sorry to say that's just outright ridiculous. Why aren't Spike Lee's movies, a lot of black cast, why aren't those, or Tyler Perry movies, why aren't those called the best movies of all time? Just because of skin color. I think that that's extremely unfair to base a movie off of that. There's so much more to a movie. But yeah, so going back to financial success, people love it, and it's crossed over $700 million at the box office. Justice League couldn't even crack 240 in 3 months. So, Al, what's your thoughts, man?
Bro, I appreciate your honest review. That's what it's all about. You're big on movies, so I always want to hear your opinion first. As far as for me, I haven't watched the movie yet, and I have some links pulled up. Black Panther passes Wonder Woman and Toy Story 3 at the U.S. box office. There's no doubt and there's no argument in the fact that this is an extremely, extremely successful movie. As far as what the movie is all about, I think that's what's really captured everyone. It's kind of a hype train, like you said. Like I said, I haven't watched the movie personally, so what I have to say doesn't hold to as much value as what you said. I'm just kind of relaying off of what I am hearing, what I'm reading, how it's affected. I think that's one of the things I can give to you is how it's affected culture. As far as for me, I'm a soccer guy. I love soccer, but there's a big club soccer team in England called Manchester United, and there's two big players. Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard. I'm sure you don't really know who they are, but anyway, they're both black, and so they score, and they're doing this as their celebration. I think that's really cool how a movie can kind of just become a cultural thing. How Black Panther is going to be one of the greats. It's not just going to be one of the greatest Marvel movies, but one of the greatest movies in general. And what I mean by that, I'm sure I've heard, Vince, what you said. You're not a big fan of the movie itself and how it's going to affect the Marvel Universe, especially as we're gearing up towards Infinity War. Every movie has its place in the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and each movie kind of sets up the other one, even though the heroes aren't really directly connected to one another, at least not yet. So, I don't know. I kind of forgot my train of thought there. I don't know. That how that happens. But as far like okay, so I was just saying is how the movie's separated from Marvel. You know what I'm saying? So in the Marvel universe, it's so connected. It's really connected. It's intertwined, and I love that. I love that about the Marvel universe. You said it was kind of like a Black Avengers kind of thing. That's a cool, connection, I guess. An analogy, best word. As far as what you're saying, Vince, since the acting and the supporting cast are all black, it's Black Panther, and you have, the album with Kendrick Lamar and The Weeknd, one of your favorite artists. A lot of black, very famous artists. They kind of added to the hype. It's a black movie. Kind of goes back to Get Out for me. I watched it's a scary movie called Get Out. I see you shaking your head in that little corner.
Yeah.
Now that movie Get Out was very, very, connected to racism and all of those things. As far as for me, and I guess that this movie is kind of symbolic towards the oppression towards black people, and black is the politically correct term, and I don't want to sound racist because that's not what I'm about. That's not what Vince is about, and that's not what this movie is about. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to be racist. We're just seeing it through a lens. You know what I'm saying? If we can say things without people getting offended, I just think it'd make it that much easier. But I'm a little ranting there. It's a symbol of black hope, and that's what I like a lot. But what you said with how if this was a white movie, this would be one of the worst Marvel movies of all time. And like I said again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But I'm trusting you in what you say. I have to see it for myself before I can really say much and add more. I just think it's hyped. I guess I'm rambling. So what are some of your other thoughts?
Okay, so I have two little stories for you.
Yeah.
First story is this. You said it's all hype, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and maybe I told you this story before, but I'm going to tell it to the audience, just so they know. So I have a friend, and he texted me, and he's like, he took a screenshot of what my other friend said on Instagram, that he saw the movie, and he thinks it's amazing. It's easily the best Marvel movie he's ever seen. Of course, talking about Black Panther. And he loved everything about it, but he didn't get into specifics. And he said, I find that really funny that, let's just say his name was Timmy. It's not Timmy, but let's say it was Timmy, right? He said, I think it's very interesting that Timmy sent that knowing that that same exact night he was hanging out with me. He didn't go see that movie. So he sent that text saying he saw the movie, although he really didn't. Because, like, he was hopping on board the hype train, acting as if he saw the movie. And I bet you he's not the first person to do that. I think that's very interesting. So there's a lot of hype behind it, and a lot of it could be fake. A lot of people said that about The Last Jedi, too, that this is the best Star Wars movie ever created. And then the next week, when a lot of people saw it, they're like, this is the worst Star Wars movie of all time. It's that hype. And another thing, too, is that, this is the second story. My favorite podcast of all time, it's called Double Toasted. There's a podcast forum, there's a YouTube forum, and the two hosts are black, Martin and Corey. And they're very real with you. They do movie reviews, highly recommend them. They get so real with you. It's amazing. And they're honest. Their biggest hyped up movie of all time, of course, was Black Panther. They were so excited. They read the comics growing up. They loved it so much. And these guys are both comedians. They could not wait for it. And even they were pooping on it. They're like, look, you take away the fact that it's black and they were white, and it's one of the worst movies of all time. And I'm not just taking their word. I also agree with that. They were saying that, look, we could not wait to see this movie, and it's a good addition to the Marvel Universe. But take it from two black dudes. It's not that great. And so even, I think it just takes a second set of lenses to really see what this movie is, because it's not all what it's cracked up to be or what's on the surface. And also, you have to have a little bit of your own opinion, not other people's opinion. You know, Al, you might see the movie and you might love it, and you and I can have a civil conversation about that. I'd like that. But if you're just going to take an Instagram post and hop on everybody else's hype, and you're not honest with yourself, and then how Double Toasted, they were honest with themselves, I like that a lot. And I respect that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna take one of your thoughts that you gave me, and I'm gonna relay it over to our next topic. Is that okay? Or is there something else burning that?
Out of 10, let's just go out of 10. I would rate it a 5 out of 10. It's right there, but all right.
Actually, before I start, give me the best Marvel movie in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe, and give me your funniest, and maybe they're the same ones.
Okay, so I'd go with the best one would be Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And then the funniest, bro. I'd actually have to go with Spider-Man: Homecoming. A lot of people don't think that one's funny. They think like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy or Ant-Man. I thought Spider-Man: Homecoming was hilarious.
As far as for me, thanks for your answer, dude.
Yeah.
Captain America: Winter Soldier. You know, I don't know. Some Marvel movies are more serious, and they might add more to the actual plot of the entire universe, and some are just plain out funny. I love Spider-Man: Homecoming. It had this like refreshing feeling for me. You know, it's a high schooler. It actually went back to the high school roots, and that was what Spider-Man was all intended about. So I was able to connect to that level. As far as the funniest, I mean, I don't know. It was pretty funny. Um, the best one, maybe not like the best one, and like this is like some nostalgia right here. I love the original or Avengers. It might not be the best, but that is the one that I have watched 4, 5, 6, 7 times, like in total.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a movie. It's become a classic, and it's set up the universe very very well. So I'm not sure if it's the best one. I do love how Spider-Man: Homecoming was able to connect all the way back to the original Avengers with how they were able to, what's the correct word? Kind of harvest whatever those things were. I'm not sure the correct word. um, but I feel like the funniest one for me was Thor Ragnarok, dude. I laughed so hard. It was a great movie.
Oh,
It was
dang,
it was so awesome
that's a good
because
one.
the first
That's a
two
good
Thor
one.
movies, the first two Thor movies were horrible. I'm gonna say I could not finish them. They were bad. But
The
this
first
one,
one's in my top.
the first one,
Mhm.
you liked the first one?
Yeah, here, I'll give you my quick top 5 ranking, just real fast.
Alright.
Just talking about like my personal favorites. Winter Soldier #1, Ragnarok is 2. We're gonna go with Avengers at 3. Ant-Man at 4, and then 5 would happen to be
The original Thor.
Thor 1,
Yeah.
and then Captain America would be 6.
That the first Captain America was also one that I watched like a couple times. Good stuff. All right. So what you were saying
Yeah.
about kind of the hype and people for example, especially with now social media and how we're seeing a lot of the news stations are they're not displaying the news. You know what I'm saying? They're fake news, whatever. But you have CNN on the left, and you have my left. Okay, your left. Okay, you CNN on the left, Fox News on the right, and so whatever Fox News is saying, it's very right, conservative. All the news they try to twist things to the right, conservatives, as well as CNN, trying to twist things. Their anchors are very very biased and objective. So that's something I don't really like about today's news, and so that's a big factor. Also, a big factor is now social media. So someone says a post that might sound good, and everyone kind of builds on that hype. And so going to the controversial topic on gun control, a lot of people now, especially after this Parkland, as they should question. We should question. Should we ban guns fully? What can we do to regulate? What can we do to do all of these things? And what I've found myself is a lot of these people are very misinformed. And I'm not saying I'm the most knowledgeable on this topic, but at least I gathered some information by both sides. I heard both sides, both opinions, and I was able to make my own judgment. And that's something we lack as a society today, and it's kind of frustrating. So as for me, you know, rest in peace to those 17 innocent lives, and that could have been avoidable. That there's some investigations into the police and tips and all of those things. That shooting 100% could have been avoidable. But there's other shootings that just come out of nowhere. So, I personally was affected by these threats and all of those things. Maybe one day I'll share, but I'll just say I was personally affected in terms of no one lost their life. My school had to shut down for a couple of days due to some threats, which was
How long?
3 days. 3 days.
And then what about the they gave you they gave you an excused absence for how many days?
That's right. So on Monday, normal day, Monday night there was a threat, and so on Tuesday, it was towards the high school, and so on Tuesday, um, sorry, a little pop up just came up. On Tuesday, the school said you can. School was still open, but they said if you want to keep your kids home because the threat came out, it's excused. But then Wednesday, another threat came out regarding because there's more police presence on Tuesday, so they shut down and investigated Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and they were even considering shutting down this Monday. But they were able to find the suspect. Vince, I didn't tell you this, but the person is going to be charged with 15 different counts But they're gonna be tried as a juvenile, and with the juvenile system, it's more of a rehabilitation instead of a punishment kind of thing. But it's gonna mess that person up in terms of their future.
Wow, that's we'll talk about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We have like we have like 10 minutes left. We're gonna push to 30 minutes today because I feel like this is worth talking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know that. But as far as what I think about gun control, I feel like at the end of the day, obviously there's spectrums that fall in between, but there is the people who want to ban guns and there are the people who want to continue to bear arms. For me, I fall in the spectrum of people bearing arms. I personally don't own guns, and here's my reasoning behind it before everyone kind of shuts me out and closes, and then I'll let you talk. As far as for me, a lot of people are like, well, we should ban semi-automatics, ARs. That's the AR-15 is what Nick Cruz used to kill and to shoot those innocent lives. Semi-automatics, what people don't understand, they're handguns. It's what handguns are. They're semi-automatic guns. You cock it and you shoot. That's what a semi-automatic. I think a lot of people think of it as like, ba 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 ba. We have very, 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 very heavy, strict regulations on automatic guns. So that's something that we've taken a stance on. And then you go back to the whole reasoning why we have guns. I get it. A lot of people say, it's just to save lives is to take away guns. And in some ways, you see that. The argument makes sense. But then you look at other stats where some countries took away guns. And you could look at historical where, Hitler, he took away guns. And then guess what happened? Joseph Stalin, he took away guns. And look what happened. These guys became essentially tyrannies. Not saying our government would do that as well, but that part of a reason why governments fear people and are big on what citizens think is because they have the ability to defend themselves. That was the whole intentions by our founding fathers to put in the Second Amendment the right to bear arms, and we're all a militia. That makes sense. It's to avoid tyrannical governments, just like England was to the colonists. So that's the whole thing. Now you look at some shootings where there was a shooting at a church in Texas. A couple people lost their lives, but who put an end to that shooting? It was an NRA certified person who possessed a weapon and was able to kill that person out of self-defense and protection. If we were to limit our guns, first of all, we would be susceptible to not only external conflicts, people from places all over the world, but internal conflicts. Would be susceptible to our government. We'd be susceptible to one another. I personally feel like we'd see muggings. The percentage of muggings increase, homicide rates increasing, rapes increasing. So maybe regulations here or there are the best thing to do. But at the end of the day, I don't think we should be taking away guns. What's your thought?
Well, I mean, look, the reason why, sure, there's always been people that have wanted to put more restriction on the NRA or ban guns in general. That's always been there. But the reason why it's been in the news more so than ever was because of this the shooting. So let's put a reverse situation on this, okay? This is what a lot of people don't tend to do. They don't tend to look at it.
Hey, Vince, I'm sorry.
A reverse situation. Let's reverse it.
I'm sorry. 1 second. Sorry, you were kind of cutting out real quick, so I'm just gonna let it calm down, and then you can start talking. It was kind of like your voice came first, and then the movements. Sorry, I want the audience to see your face and to hear. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, go for it now. Let's see if it works. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So, a lot of people don't think in the reverse situation. So let's reverse it from the shooting. Let's say guns were not a thing, okay? You cannot privately own guns. And let's say somehow a guy obtained a gun legally, same way they would obtain weed or something like that, and he takes a gun and he walks into an orphanage, and God forbid he shoots up 17 orphans.
Wow.
Okay? Now, are we going to say to ourselves, yeah, it's a good thing guns don't exist? Or are we going to say, or now is there going to be a movement that there should be guns, so that way the orphanage, whoever's running the orphanage, could have protected all those children? You see what I'm saying here? If you reverse it and you think about the ramifications, both sides really can't win here. You know what I mean? Same thing with the police officer. There's a reason why there's police officers at schools patrolling. I mean, yeah, you might, like, he'll have a taser or something like that, but he also has a legally trained firearm on him. Because if he goes like this, aims it at you, that's a sense of fear. That's a gun aiming right at you. So if you were protecting yourself, that gun gives you that same authority. A lot of other people think that, people should be legally trained with a gun. Fine. You have to get legally trained for every gun purchase you make. That's a fair regulation. To take them away completely, that's unfair, I think. I see where everybody else is coming from, but you and I kind of have the same mindset on this.
Yeah, exactly. It's unfair, and going back to our founding fathers and the rights that they set up to us. The First Amendment states the right, the freedom of speech. Now, obviously, it's a no-brainer. Would you let the government take away your freedom of speech? No, like,
No.
even though we are starting to see that today, which is kind of sad if you know where I'm going at. Anyway, it's a no-brainer. You're not going to let the government take away freedom of speech. And I feel personally that the framers, what they call it, the people who wrote the Constitution, they held freedom of speech to the same level of the right to bear arms, as well as all the amendments and the rights stated in the Bill of Rights, or the first 10 amendments. They held it to that same standard. So why is it that we can look at, the freedom of speech and say it's a no-brainer, we shouldn't be able to take that away, and then we look at, the right to bear arms, and we're questioning it. It's our right, as people to question and have our own opinions. But it's also our right to bear arms, and I understand. Lives could have been, it's just hard. It's hard. It's hard to put a perspective onto that. People can still, even if we were to ban guns, we would have to first confiscate all of those guns. But we would also, people can also manufacture their own guns. And, now you have people who are illegally manufacturing guns, and then you disarm innocent lives. Now those are lives that could have also been, prevented. So I just want to say one more thing, and I forgot. Okay, so I'll try to make this quick. Many companies are kind of, and I see this. If there's a majority of people that are saying things, that are hating, that are bashing on things, companies, especially companies, are going to take a stance. Dick's Sporting Goods has stopped selling rifles because of all of this. That's their right to stop selling it. But a lot of companies are pulling out of deals with the NRA. Delta, NRA members have, actually have NRA members actually have a lot of discounts, and a lot of things. And they have a lot of, the NRA has a lot of partnerships with a lot of corporations. But now what we're seeing is a lot of corporations pulling out of their deals. And so it's kind of shedding some good light on the companies. I personally wouldn't, I think it's the other way. I wouldn't really value that company too much. But the NRA is still going strong, as it shouldn't. There is a lot of controversy behind the NRA. It's a lot of the association with rednecks and stuff like that. once more, it's our right to do these kind of things, and I think that's something kind of hypocrisy from the left, that we're kind of seeing. I don't want us to become like a conservative channel, but it's our views. It's what we're talking about. So, um, what are your thoughts on that, Vince?
Well, I kind of said it for like 2 seconds, but I wasn't trying to talk over you. If people, I mean, like you said, people can manufacture their own guns. So you're going to ban 3D printers now? Because you can easily 3D print an automatic rifle. Not semi-automatic, automatic. There's so many ways to get around it, just like how illegal drugs get into our country. There's ways, immigration, there's ways around everything. So sure, if you ban, even if you don't ban guns, even if you just ban a certain kind of gun, if a kid wants it, he's still going to get it. You know what I mean? Same thing with drugs. So also, once again, God forbid this happens, bro, you could bring a knife to school and, like, you could probably shank, like, I don't know, 20 kids in a lunchroom before, like, somebody, like, grabs a hold of you. I mean, maybe not even 20, maybe hopefully, like, 5, hopefully none at all. But point is, there's countless ways to harm people. So by all this stuff you're seeing on the news of all these kids, like, screaming and yelling at these NRA people, and, Marco Rubio, all this stuff, it's like, I think everybody's focused on the wrong issues. And there was a dad who spoke to President Trump, and there was a little press conference meeting. I don't know if you've seen this.
I saw that.
And his daughter died. Yeah, and the dude was very diplomatic about it. He's like, look, there's more to it. This is coming from the dad was never going to see his daughter ever again. They had to go to her funeral, and now my sons have to deal with that. He's very diplomatic about it. He's like, this isn't about conservatives and liberals. It's about coming together to find the best solution. So no, we're not trying to be a conservative channel. Yes, that's what our views are, but we're just trying to help everybody see a side, and maybe we're missing something. You let us know. But that's our opinions, and it's sad that not everybody could be on the same page. But if everybody was on the same page, this world would be pretty boring. You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it off with this, and then I'm gonna call it off call it a day. It's the cliche saying, guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that. As far as for me, that's all I have to say about Black Panther, gun control. Thank you guys.
That's the quote of the day.
Quote of the day? Yeah, we'll make that quote of the day. I like that.
That's the quote.
I like that.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, hopefully one day, Vince, we'll be able to make material and content that people can make it, push through. So if you did, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I would typically, actually comment, let us know, because we want to know if someone made it this far, made the challenge, and did it. But thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the views, the likes, the comments, everything. It's an amazing journey, and we're ready to go. So Vince, that's all I have to say. You guys have an amazing day as our audience. It's nighttime, so Vince, you have an amazing night. I'm gonna leave it off to you, bro.
All right, thank you guys so much. As always, we always respond to the comments you guys leave. So we would love to have a conversation with you. It can't hurt anybody. So feel free to leave a comment. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with us on this episode. Everyone loves Black Panther. I don't. People want to take away guns. We don't. So that'll make for an interesting debate, and we'll be civil with it, as long as you're civil with us. And that's what this is about, it's for Alan and I, but also talking with you guys. And you hear our views, so we would love to hear yours. But with that, thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned on Saturday. It's going to be a comic book, movie, Star Wars, whatever we feel like talking about. That's going to be my show on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. And with that, I'm out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next episode.
Peace, guys.
Peace.